for Bristol's Promise. And our Youth Networking Alliance meetings have been going since 1999. We now have a lot of other meetings that we didn't have when we first started, and we are paying attention to that to be sure to make the best use of everybody's time. Staff that are attending, Melissa Roberts is our executive director, and she's going to be helping with the monitoring the chat, our technology, and sharing screens for our speakers. And then she'll close us out at the end with some different meeting announcements, etc. Samantha Gray, we'll introduce her in a minute. I see Danielle Boer was here. She's our newest staff person, family support specialist. So we're glad to have our staff attending. So we always ask if people are here for the first time. So if you're here for the first time, if you want to put your little hand up, either, yep. So we always have people here for the first time. So when we were in person, it was always great. We had at least one person attending for the first time. So we really appreciate your joining us. Bristol's Promise initially and continues to focus on 5 promises. And those 5 promises are to build resilience. And now more than ever, we focus on building resilience. And those are listed on our website. I'm going to skip that for time, but they're 5 promises that our children need, but so do our families and our adults. So networking is always an important part of what we do. And so today we hope to have time at the end, but in the meantime, if you want to put, and people already are, putting information in the chat. We also said in our email, if you want to put in 3 goals that for you, for your organization, or for your program that you have looking forward. If you don't have 3, if you want to just put 1, but it's things for us all to be thinking about. And like I said, we'll follow up with chat information. And anytime if there's people that you want to connect with that we can help with, you can always email and let us know, and we'll make that connection with you. So today we're focused on early childhood from birth, actually prenatal through age 5 or so. And we know this is a well-informed group, and we all are understanding how critical brain development is. And we're learning more and more how critical the brain development is during the first few moments, the first days, the weeks after childbirth, in addition to prenatal as well. As we get started, I'll say that we have a similar program that's being offered by Strong Kids, Speedway Children's Charities partnership with the Strong ACC, and that's on February 2nd at 12 noon no, February 1st. I apologize. February 1st. So we'll be sharing that information at the end as well. But ours has a little bit different agenda, but there'll be opportunity for breakout rooms at that point as well. So we have a whole lot happening in our region. A lot of y'all are involved at different levels. A lot of you know a lot. But we wanted to have brief overviews of the program, some of them new, to understand where we're going and how we're getting there, so that we can all kind of understand what's going on in Tennessee, what's going on in Virginia. It's always a little bit different no matter what. So we want to be able to do that, to have common goals and strive together to support our children, youth, and families for better lives for them and better communities for all of us. So I will introduce our panel, and then panel members, if y'all can just flow one to the other, and if I in introduction leave anything out, because they're very short, feel free to add any additional information. So the panelists we have today, we're happy to have Susan Patrick from United Way Southwest Virginia, Director of Childhood Success. She's working with Ready Regions, and it's an initiative focused on early childhood in Virginia. And she's participated in our forums before, and Samantha Gray is working with her, and we're all trying to work together with ACC and other initiatives. We appreciate her being here today, and she's warned us that her connection's not great. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and work with her. Mark Cruz is here from the Strong ACC, the Accountable Care Community. He is director, and he's facilitating the development of Bright Start Northeast Tennessee, which is a state initiative of TQEE, Tennessee Quality Early Education. And Bristol's Promise works with Mark and the ACC team in many ways, as I'm sure a lot of y'all do as well. So the next one that we have is Strong Pregnancies, Strong Starts. Tara Chadwell is here. She's the director of these programs. She came in last minute when Paula Masters was going to talk about this program, but we're thrilled to have Tara. She is actually director of this program. She's also been an attendee and part of Youth Network and Alliance for several years, many years. And we work with her closely with Buckle Up for Life as she's has a team working on child safety education and distribution of car seats. So thank you, Tara, for short notice stepping in. And Samantha Gray will wind us up concentrating on the parenting and parenting education and support aspects that we know are critical to success. Samantha is for our children, for our parents, for our workforce, for our caregivers, everybody. Samantha is the parenting coordinator with Bristol's Promise. So panel, we thank you all for your expertise, your time, your passion, and belief for the work that we are all doing together. So a reminder to everybody to be sure to mute your mics. We'll mute you if we need to. And Melissa and I will monitor the chat for questions and comments. And we hope to have enough time at the end for significant networking. Susan Patrick, it's your turn, and Melissa will pull up your short slides, and then if you want to add anything from there.
Great, awesome. Thank you so much. So I don't see the slides yet. Oh, here they go.
Yep.
All right. So today, Margaret asked me to come and talk to you all about the Ready Regions project and United Way of Southwest Virginia's role in that project and what that really means for our community. So really, the big idea behind Ready Regions is as Virginia is revamping their entire way of looking at early childhood systems for the state, they really recognize that there needed to be regional hubs or regional supports in order to make this successful. They know that everything can't come down from Richmond and then be distributed equally across the state. And also, it's not always well received when it comes down from way up high into our local communities. And so one way that they are trying to address this is by developing these hubs around the region. Melissa, if you'll advance at one, it'll show the map. So the idea is that it's more equitably distributed across the region, across the state, to have these regional hubs that work with smaller groups of people rather than one big group of people out of Richmond trying to get all of this work done and travel all across the state. So you can see here that this is the distribution of Ready Regions. There are 9 identified regions, our area being region number 1 with United Way of Southwest Virginia as the backbone agency. This was a competitive process, and we worked for several months in really pulling together different partners from the community, our Smart Beginnings coalitions, our Advisory Council for Childhood Success. A lot of people really contributed to naming us as the ideal lead agency, and then also into putting together the proposal for how we would go forward with that. Go ahead and advance that slide. So previously in the state of Virginia, we had Smart Beginnings, and we have held a Smart Beginnings community through United Way of Southwest Virginia for many years that grew and grew and grew. It started out as just Smart Beginnings of Washington County, I think, and then it just grew and grew. Until we've encompassed everything you saw there in the Region 1 footprint, which is 21 localities. So the need for this idea behind Ready Regions was that there were 17 Smart Beginnings communities, and they didn't even cover the entire state. So there were pockets of Smart Beginnings communities where a lot of work and a lot of collaboration between different organizations was happening. And so some communities were getting a whole lot of attention on early childhood and a whole lot of quality improvement for childcare sites, a whole lot of people working together that you know, brought together CSBs and healthcare and you know, private partners, businesses, government, you know, all of those people were being brought together by their Smart Beginnings community. And then other parts of the state had nothing going on. And so this was sort of the organic evolution of Smart Beginnings into a more equitable system where the entire Commonwealth had a Ready Regions lead or a hub agency that was representing them and making sure that everything was equally distributed and everybody had access to early childhood programs. And again, I think it says it here, that need for on the ground, boots on the ground, people who live and work in those communities to really put this into place. You can go ahead and advance the slide. Obviously, benefits of a regional approach: shared knowledge, consistent relationships, a more stable network. We're able to more nimbly respond when the state says we want to implement this. Then we are ready to say, okay, well, this is how we think it's going to work in our community, and we know how to get that rolled out quickly. One example of that is the preschool development grant, which has been working. We've been working on that in our community now for 3 years, and this provides funding to teachers. It provides professional development, and now it is also providing observation, professional observations of classrooms, teacher-child interactions in classrooms. So we're looking at gathering data. We're supporting teachers in their work. We're supporting them financially with an incentive program. So this is something that we can get to quickly. We can roll it out. We can very accurately assess how many teachers it's going to affect if they make a change, because we are in this work and we know these teachers. We're in the classrooms, we're in the centers and schools, so we are much more able to respond quickly when we're asked to do something. And then still working on that public-private partnership, which Virginia is really invested in creating this early childhood system that includes both public and private options for families. It's really beginning, our focus is really shifting into making sure that families have options about what kind of care their young children receive and how they get that care. You can go ahead and advance the slide. So what does being a Ready Region lead, or what does Ready Region mean for our area? So the new system in Virginia is going towards a unified system of measurement and improvement, and they're calling that VQB5. So previously you may have heard of Virginia Quality, which was the quality rating and improvement system for the state of Virginia. You might have heard of Preschool Development Grant. Matter of fact, I just mentioned it, which was, again, another sort of quality improvement and access and utilization improvement tool that the state was using. So now all of those activities are being coordinated under one umbrella called VQB5. It will still continue to support quality measurement and guide improvement for early childhood classrooms. Now it's going to include every classroom that serves early childhood. So it doesn't matter if it's a family day home, if it is a child development center, small or large, if it's a public school, if it is a early childhood special education classroom, all of those classrooms are becoming part of that quality measurement and improvement system. We're in practice year 1 right now. There's another practice year next year, and then that will go into being a reportable and trackable measurement that families can go in and see exactly what kind of quality any given site might have as they're choosing educational programs for their children. These activities all are focused around the 5 assurances of confronting racial inequity, building relationships, strengthening quality, increasing access, and the last one, which I think is probably of most interest to this group, is engaging families. We can go to the next slide. So long-term goals, we're really trying to build that strong foundation of an early childhood system across the Commonwealth to support that federal funding that comes down through the preschool development grant, and then really just trying to align that quality measurement and improvement based on the new state laws that say, yes, we need to have a unified measurement and improvement system. We're also going to be playing a key role in helping coordinate enrollment and expanding regional capacity. So what we've discovered as we delve into this is that pockets of our region don't have enough childcare to support the families that live there. And you'll hear me in a moment talk about Ready Southwest Virginia, and that's another initiative that we're rolling out underneath the Ready Regions project that will bring new childcare slots, new centers, and also shore up the development pipeline of workforce for folks who work with very young children. This is really key in expanding our regional capacity, not just for childcare, but really for all other workforce, because you can't have a strong workforce if they don't have somebody to care for their children. So, sort of investing some time, energy, and funding into shoring up that critical piece of infrastructure in our area. And then, of course, we have the responsibility of continuing to identify public and private funding that can help build the system that supports early childhood efforts across the region. And we really look high and low for any supports that are out there that can shore this work up. You can advance that slide, please. So in January, I guess it was middle December, United Way of Southwest Virginia was named as the Ready Region Southwest Lead Agency. And we're currently in a 6-month planning period from January to June of 2022 to design our coalition. So you'll see us reaching out, calling out for folks to help with coalition work. We'll be realigning all of those around 5 different regions. Right now we have 6 currently, and we're going to try to redistribute those to be a little bit more equitable across the region. We'll be looking for new folks to represent. We're really very interested in people that work directly with families, people who are embedded in communities that maybe we haven't reached yet. So we're looking for faith-based leaders, again, folks that work with families directly, those kind of people to bring on new expertise into our coalitions to help us guide this new work and make sure that we really focus around family choice. We'll start a full implementation in July that will include the integration of those PDG and Virginia quality activities to implement the VQB5 initiative. We'll be expanding our staff. You probably, if you watch for our announcements, you've already seen the family engagement specialist and data specialist job positions that we've opened here at United Way of Southwest Virginia to support this work. We've also engaged already an outreach coordinator that's specifically working on coordinated enrollment efforts to make sure that we stay on top of exactly how many slots we have in any given community, how much funding and where it's coming from, and making sure that we're absolutely utilizing every dollar that's available to us to its maximum potential. And then really we want to create a buzz around early childhood programming. We want families to know how important it is for children to have early childhood experiences, and whether those be school-based, center-based, or community-based, even if families don't choose to put their children in a full-time program, what else can we do in our communities to allow for these experiences? So working with libraries and other local nonprofits that are working in small groups with families. And then our final piece of this initiative is that we really want to align with this other idea that I mentioned about infrastructure, the Ready Southwest Virginia initiative, which will focus around childcare as a critical piece of the infrastructure of our community, and really hone in on what do we need to do to shore up early childhood supports for families with young children so that they can return to work and advance their potential as citizens in our community. So I think that's my last slide. Is that the last one?
It is.
Yep, looks like it is. Okay. So that really just sums up what we're doing. I'm sure if you have questions, you're going to let me know, but we are working very, very closely. You're about to hear Mark present, and he's going to say a lot of things that might sound familiar to what I said. We're looking for, people to help out with this, and this. And we're working in really close connection with the ACC and really trying to align those efforts so that we end up with this really a beautiful, strong, amazing early childhood system across both Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia that talks to each other and works in conjunction with each other so that we're not, again, siloed each in our own little world, but we're really looking at what's best for our whole community. So thank you all for having me today. And please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Susan, very much. Appreciate you. And that helps immensely to understand. I've heard lots about it, but didn't know as many details as what you've provided today. So that's very helpful. So next, Mark, we will move to you, and you're going to talk to us about Bright Start and how that is happening and what it is and et cetera. So and I think Melissa's allowed you to share your screen.
Yes. Margaret, can you see that slide on the screen?
Yep.
Oh, okay, great. Well, thank you so much for the invitation, Margaret. It's always a joy to be a part of your meetings and to be able to learn and listen and share your leadership and advocacy for the needs of families with young children in the region is truly laudable, and we appreciate everything that you do with Bristol's Promise and all of your community partners, many of whom are also involved in the Strong ACC. So I'm going to give everybody a quick overview of the Bright Start Northeast Tennessee initiative. Just to sort of set the stage, the Strong ACC is the convening entity for Bright Start. And those of you that may not be familiar with the Strong ACC, we're a multi-sector collective impact coalition, now numbering over 300 organizations in Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. And we are planning and coordinating initiatives, trauma-informed, across a continuum from prenatal to college and career readiness. Our efforts are aimed at enhancing early childhood development, educational success, and workforce development, which then lead to income security and finally improved health and well-being. We're blessed to have backbone support from our partners at Valid Health and the United Way of Southwest Virginia in order to be able to do what we do. And I just want to sort of take a moment to acknowledge and congratulate Susan and her team at United Way of Southwest Virginia for being tapped as the lead organization for Region 1 in the Ready Regions Network in the Commonwealth. It was not at all surprising that that designation was made, but nevertheless, well-deserved, and I can't think of another organization in Region 1 that's more equipped and better situated to lead Region 1 than United Way of Southwest Virginia. So all congratulations are due to you and your team, Susan. So last year, last fall, an organization that some of you are familiar with called Tennesseans for Quality Early Education announced the launch of their Bright Start Tennessee Network, which is an initiative aimed at improving, accelerating learning outcomes and reducing opportunity and achievement gaps for Tennessee children birth through 3rd grade. They selected a subgroup of communities across the state, 6 to be exact, to participate in this network. And our good fortune was that they selected the 10-county region of Upper East Tennessee to be one of those 6. The other 5 are in Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville, Memphis, and another multi-county region in West Tennessee. And so the 6 communities are all part of this Bright Start Tennessee network, and each of us have been provided with some planning money from TQEE to lead planning efforts that will ultimately result in strategic plans to improve conditions and outcomes for children birthed through 3rd grade in the region. So soon after that was announced and the Strong ACC was tapped to be the convening entity for Bright Start in the region, we formed a steering committee, and our esteemed host of this meeting is one of the members of that steering committee, Margaret, along with a group of other prominent leaders and stakeholders in early care and education in Northeast Tennessee. And I apologize that the print is a little bit small here, but you can see that we have good cross-section of sectors represented and various organizations who are involved in one way or another in helping to influence the direction of early care and education in the region. We're also very blessed to have not only Dr. Karen Skatsina as an advisor. She's the chair of our leadership council at the Strong ACC and a pediatrician, but also Travis Staten and Susan from the United Way of Southwest Virginia. As Susan mentioned, we have created a mechanism through both of our planning processes to have information sharing and exchange, and ultimately aiming to have a vision for early care and education in the region that would result in a common, equitable system of ECE, no matter which side of the state line a family resides on. And so we'll aim to take the best of the Ready Regions plan and the Bright Start plan and make those a part of a truly regional system of early care and education that would be world-class in our hope. So with a strong steering committee, we launched into sort of setting up our vision and goals. So the vision is to create a continuum of high-quality early care and education for children ages 0 to 8 in Northeast Tennessee. Our primary ultimate goal is to increase the percentage of 3rd graders who are performing at grade level in math and reading by 2025 and even beyond that. And so we haven't set the percentage yet that we hope to achieve. Some of that the decision about that will come as we continue our stakeholder engagement and get into really the development of strategies and interventions. But that is the ultimate goal, to increase reading and math proficiency. We have a deliverable, just like Ready Regions does, to produce a strategic plan by June of this year, and we're on track to achieve that. We actually have an interim partial draft of the plan as of today, and we're on our way. On the right-hand side of this screen, you see this graphic and third grade reading and math proficiency in the middle, but the three pieces around it are all what we call supporting goals, that if these are done well, the belief is that we can then can meaningfully improve third grade reading and math proficiency. So it's health and development on track beginning at birth, everything to do with child health and well-being, supported and supportive families and communities. And when you dig deeper, that really is about building parenting skills and knowledge to help provide those safe, nurturing, loving environments during the first 3 years, and to help equip them to be their child's first teacher, and then also to provide the resources that that family needs to be able to flourish. And then finally, high quality birth through age 8 learning environments, and that encompasses the whole continuum of early childhood, child care, preschools, all the way through third grade. So those are three sort of organizing buckets of knowledge and subject matter material that we are focusing on during the planning process. So with that kind of as our top goals and aims, we've spent a good chunk of time really planning and then launching in December a ambitious stakeholder engagement strategy that includes, among other things, holding town hall meetings in each of the 10 counties in the region. And we have now held 9 of those. The first 5 were in person, while there was a little bit of I don't know what the right word is, Margaret. I was going to say lull, but there's never been a lull in this pandemic, really. Cases have always been higher than they should be, but it was, shall we say, a little safer to be together indoors. But then we had to move to virtual meetings a few weeks ago. And so you can see here the counties, the dates of those town hall meetings, and then the number of participants that we've had. And so we're well on our way to having had over 200 people attend those meetings throughout the region, and they've covered a wide range of stakeholders, but I would say heavy representation from the early childhood care provider sector and K through 3 school leaders and teachers and administrators, and then other community organizations and family support organizations that have strong emphases on working with families and children. So these have been productive. Perhaps some of you have attended one or more of these. We actually scheduled 2 for Sullivan County because we wanted to, it's a populous county with population centers in Bristol and Kingsport, so we actually held 2 for Sullivan. And we've been very pleased with the sort of the participation and results of those meetings. We'll be including the results of those meetings in a comprehensive stakeholder engagement summary report by the end of February. In addition to the town hall meetings, we've been interviewing subject matter experts, and these have included people such as faculty and researchers in some of our institutions of higher education, child care providers, Head Start staff, family support organizations, pediatricians, and others. And those have been equally productive and fruitful in terms of generating ideas and input that can help inform this plan. We're also conducting roundtable discussions with school superintendents, all 17, meeting with them next week, and then again in the near future to keep them apprised of progress and to receive their inputs and ideas. Chambers of Commerce and faith leaders are all still to come. So that's a vehicle that we're using. And then finally, participation in one of 3 work groups that we have formed that are connected to those 3 supporting goals that I mentioned earlier. And we're naming those work groups Learning Environments, Health and Development, and Family and Community Supports. So in the chat box, I would love to hear from anyone who hasn't already signed up to serve on one of these work groups to simply indicate that in the chat box that you are interested in serving on one, and name the one that you're interested in, and then I'll follow up with you afterwards. If you'll put your email address with it, I'll follow up with you afterwards to get you the information that you need. So a little bit more information about how those work groups are going to function. We have what we call measures of success that have been identified as contributing factors towards achieving each of the 3 supporting goals. So there's 15 measures of success altogether. And again, apologize if this print is a little bit smaller than you're able to read, but these 5 have been researched and have been shown to make a meaningful impact on each of those high-level supporting goals. However, they are at the moment tentative measures of success. These are not etched in stone. And the reason for that is that we want the work groups to really dig into these and first of all, determine if there's any sort of amendments or adjustments that need to be made with any of these. But then furthermore, identify if something is glaringly missing that needs to be included. And then to, ultimately include those proposed measures of success and their recommendations to our steering committee. So we're on a path now, beginning now, where each work group will have 3 meetings, and I've included the dates as well as the times on the left-hand side here, where the work groups will convene. They will look at each of the proposed or tentative measures of success in the first meeting and do root factor analysis, which is a very interesting methodology for sort of honing in on the actual experience of some of these factors and looking at it from the standpoint or from the shoes of the people for whom these are issues or concerns, and looking at attitudes and behaviors and structural barriers and other sort of factors that impede or cause that particular condition to be a problem. And what this analysis does is it helps to sort of balance the understanding of the issue along with data about where we stand in the region with that particular issue, so that when it comes to the time to build the strategies and interventions to address that measure of success, it's done in a manner that's holistic and comprehensive. So in the second meeting, we'll review the results of the stakeholder engagement activity final report. TQEE is providing a clearinghouse of best practices and promising models that we will consult and identify potential options, along with looking at what already is underway in the region that's working and that could be expanded or scaled to make a difference for more people, for more areas, and for more needs. And then in the third and final meeting in April, which will be a longer meeting, we hope to have in person, will be a work session to really sort of lay it all out and analyze what set of strategies and interventions are going to be the right fit and have the potential to be ripe for implementation in our region, the 10 counties altogether, to then prepare a set of recommendations that will go to the full steering committee soon after. And we're envisioning using a neutral facilitator for those longer work sessions, just to help move the process along. So again, if anyone is interested in serving on a work group for Bright Start, we'd love to have you involved, and we'll get you all the information that you need. The last thing I'll mention, and I think Margaret may have mentioned it, is the upcoming Strong Kids Forum, which is a program that many of you have participated in the past. It's a partnership of Speedway Children's Charities, the Nice Longer Children's Network, and Strong, that addresses any number of topics and issues of interest to those serving children and youth. And so the upcoming forum this coming Tuesday is about building a world-class early care and education system for our region. I think Susan, you were the one that touched on this. This is the flyer that was sent out. I hope that you all received it. And on the right-hand side is the link to the registration on Eventbrite, and I'll stick that in the chat box just so folks can click on that. If you haven't registered for that meeting, please do so, and it promises to be a robust conversation. There'll be brief, very brief presentations on Ready Regions and Bright Start, but then most of the meeting will be devoted to having interactive breakouts to look at what are those elements that would comprise a common equitable system of early care and education for the whole region, as Susan said, which is what we want. We don't want any child or family to miss out on an opportunity or a benefit or a support just because they happen to live in one state or the other. We want to create the same opportunities as much as possible, regardless of whether someone is in Virginia or Tennessee. So that should be a great opportunity to continue the conversation that is taking place today. So I'll stop there, Margaret, and happy to answer a question or two if there are.
Thank you very much for providing that overview and information about next week's session also. So next we have Tara Chadwell, and if she can be sharing her screen, while I can say I'm just so excited about this programming that I think it's been out there a little bit, but for me it's just kind of sunk in the last month or so to really realize, oh my gosh, this is where we meet people where they are. It is opportunities to go to support new moms in their homes and just interact and develop relationships. It's also a way for all our resources that are represented here to better reach folks, particularly in our rural areas. So Tara, with that introduction, go ahead.
I am trying to share my screen, Melissa. I don't know, it kept telling me for a second that I was disabled to share.
So Tara, I'm showing that you are co-host and should have permissions.
Okay, let's
Oh,
try
she's
again.
got two Taras.
No,
Oh, it should be me.
Her interns are on also, so that might be part of the problem. There you
there it
go.
goes.
Great. Oops, we get to see us. Great. You had us. That's good. And Terry, you're muted also. If you just
Okay, we're gonna try this again.
okay, and this, you don't have to put it in presentation mode. You can just show
Are
us.
you all able to see my PowerPoint slides?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Okay, we're going to roll with it then while we can.
Yep. Yes.
I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so on the screen, you're going to see, I am so excited, and I think I'm really excited because all of the programs so far that you've heard, really, we all link in really well together. And so you all are so familiar with hearing just the STRONG acronym from Ballad Health, and just on your slides, so that way if you're not kind of under the understanding of what STRONG means, it's striving toward resilience and opportunity for the next generation. So we've listed out the different STRONG programs under Ballad Health's name. However, today, the two that I'm really going to focus on are the Strong Pregnancies and Strong Starts initiatives that Ballad Health is doing that I help oversee as the director of. So first, I'm going to hit on the Strong Pregnancies program. We are so excited. I think this time last year in January is when I hired our manager of this program, Kim James. And then starting in March, we really ramped it up and started hiring what was called at the time community health workers. And so every single one of our community health workers that we have went through a specific training through PenMed. And it is very, very detailed. It's a fantastic training program, really to get our CHWs ready to be implemented and embedded into our OBGYN clinics. So since March of this past year, we've hired 9 community health workers. Now they're called community health navigators that we have embedded into every single Ballad Health OBGYN clinic and labor and delivery within the Ballad Health footprint. And then we also have one non-Ballad facility that we also do have a community health navigator embedded in as well. So really the ultimate goal of this program was to really reach moms and babies before they're born, to really set the family up and the baby up for the most success that we possibly can. And this program, I mean, I have to tell you, I've done a lot of work since I've been with Niswonger and Ballad, and this has just absolutely been a tremendous program that we are offering to women and children and families in our community. And so you can kind of see on this slide, it's separated into some different graphics, and it's probably really difficult for you guys to see. And I'll make sure I send these to Margaret and Melissa to share with you. So on the left, you kind of see the main goal is the patient. We use what's called a universal screening tool. So every single mom within the Ballad Health footprint is the ultimate goal to be screened, both in labor and delivery and within that Ballad Health clinic. From that screening, we can really go ahead and place them into a tier level. So you'll see low risk, moderate, high risk. We call those levels 1, 2, and 3. And so if you're a tier 3 mom, you're our most high risk moms. So a lot of our families that fall within that are usually around housing, transportation. It could be some addiction issues. And our low risk moms may be that they just need help to connect to a breastfeeding class, or they may need a childcare setup for their other children. So very low hanging fruit things that our navigators can check off the box pretty quickly. So that is how we are setting it up from the clinic. And we also recently have set it up to where every single mom that comes in to deliver in our labor and deliveries also are screened with a universal screening tool. This really kind of helps gather all those social determinants of health needs that a family would have and let us start helping them work on those goals before baby is even here. So you kind of see everything goes from strong pregnancies into what we call strong starts. And I'll update you guys a little bit on that here in a few slides. Through the Strong Pregnancies program, we really follow moms that whole length of pregnancy. They can enroll at any point, and then postpartum 3 months. And so within that time, we meet with them depending on their tier level, kind of depends on how often we meet with those families. And then also we can be able to work on goals with them. The biggest thing is we want to educate families and assist them and advocate for them. We don't want to complete these goals for them, because ultimately what we would really love to do is help them so that they're no longer needing these services eventually. So the biggest thing is we would love to see a tier 3 mom that comes in and she needs housing and transportation, all of these high needs. By the time she finishes with our navigator, to be a tier 2 or a tier 1, or maybe not even need our assistance at all except for just check-ins. So that's a simple slide that I will share with you guys. The wonderful program about this whole Strong Pregnancies piece is that it's completely free. And there's also no criteria as far as financial stability that a mom needs. Any single mom or any mom within our Ballad Health footprint qualifies just from being pregnant to be a part of this program, which is amazing. You know, I think a lot of our programs have that kind of cutoff from a financial standpoint or whatever it may be. And so any mom could qualify for this program. Some of the things that our community health workers or navigators have helped connect these moms with: housing, transportation, food, counseling services. There's just a full gamut of things. The really great thing too that's not on these slides is our community health workers can assist in going and doing these home visits. We've had to be, just like everybody, a little particular with COVID and the pandemic going on, but we are allowing our CHWs to be able to do those home visits. Through a lot of those visiting programs, we can then figure out if mom has a safe place for baby to sleep, or if there's medications being left out, make sure the environment is safe for baby and for the whole family as a unit. So you can see on here, Kim James is our manager of our program. So there's her contact information, but really the mom is the hub of this entire circle of strong pregnancies. And so making sure that all of these different things that surround her, that we can kind of link everything together and close that loop. I know on a previous slide, you may have seen the Unite Us logo on there. All of our programs work so heavily with the Unite Us platform, which I know most of you guys are probably familiar with and hopefully using. It's a really great avenue for our community health workers to connect with all of these wonderful programs, just like you all have, and be able to connect families to these resources. I think the Strong ACC really ties everything up really well to create that closed loop, and so does Unite Us. And I think the biggest thing with strong pregnancies and strong starts that we want to make sure that the community is aware of is that we're not coming in as Ballad Health to say we're going to be doing all of these connections and we're going to be getting them, connected with housing and all of this. It is such a community effort. And so we really rely very heavily on our organizations in the community to make those kind of referrals to best set mom and baby up for success. So many of you that are on the call, I know that we have probably made referrals to, and if not, I would love to connect with you. I think, like I said, we rolled it out in March of last year. So not long from now, we will have 1 year under our belt. And so we have probably, as of today, over 800 moms enrolled in this program, which is absolutely phenomenal. We have every single mom within our 21 county service area of Ballad can be served with this program. For our community health workers and navigators, we hired those team members from those counties. For one, they'll know the resources, but they can also best connect with moms being right there in their county. So I know we've talked a lot about that with other programming that we've had in the past. For example, in Norton, Virginia, we have a community health worker and navigator both housed there. They work as a team. And so that really helps the families in Norton and the Wise area really feel supported from Ballad and with this program. So they're not having to communicate with someone who may be in, say, Kingsport. And so there you can just see our breakdown of some of the tier levels that we currently have. I'm going to move into what's called the Strong Starts program. So the important thing is whenever mom and baby graduate from the Strong Pregnancies program at that 3 months postpartum, it's really important that we just don't say, okay, mom, baby, good luck out there. Have fun. We're going to hang up services now. We don't want to do that as Ballad and Niswonger. We really want to stay connected with these families long term and stay linked with them and continue serving and advocating for them. So once they graduate at that 3 months postpartum, they then graduate and move into Strong Starts. With the Strong Starts program, they are then warm handoff to a navigator. And again, we always pair them tied with that community health worker, so they already have that relationship in that service area. Our Strong Starts program, the navigator will specifically not only take care of mom at the time, but the entire family as a unit from the time that child is 3 months postpartum until that child is 5 years of age. So really working on that early literacy, child care age timeframe is really important with this program specifically. On this slide, you'll see as of last week, we had 123 enrolled into this program. So every mom that graduates from Strong Pregnancies is offered the opportunity to come into Strong Starts. And so on the left on your screen, you're going to see the breakdowns in tiers. A majority of our moms and babies that do come over to that program are our tier 1. So that's fantastic. We would love for them to stay there. And then on the second part of the slide, you'll see kind of our largest needs. Baby supplies is a massive need for us, just everything from formula to diapers to wipes to onesies. So, you know, I always like to throw it out there. If anybody knows an organization that is willing to kind of help us out with that, we are always looking for those. And here on this slide, you will see Megan Yarnell-Meisenzahl, which is actually our she was our trauma injury prevention coordinator for Niswonger, has stepped into the manager role of the Strong Starts program. So she has a team of 5 community health navigators that are located throughout the whole Ballad Health footprint. And so on the left, you'll see some of the things that are different from a community health worker to a navigator. The Strong Starts program is doing the same type of setups, except for really focusing on that early literacy, early intervention, parenting support groups, and connecting these families to maybe some other different types of resources that they didn't necessarily need during strong pregnancies. And to close us up, I have a couple more slides and then I'll wrap up, I promise. I could go on and on about all of the wonderful work that we are doing. We do have a community health navigator that is specifically tied to early prenatal care. Very similar to strong pregnancies. I know it sounds very similar. The biggest thing is that we really want to connect with organizations and moms who aren't receiving that early prenatal care and really try to get them connected to those resources, even a provider at that point that we can help make sure. I know most of you all are very aware in our facilities, there's oftentimes that we have moms who are coming in to deliver that have never had a prenatal visit in her life. And so this program specifically will hone in on that and help ensure that we are connecting moms with all of those resources that they specifically need to that early prenatal care because of the importance of it. The last thing I want to mention, which is just a fantastic new program that we are rolling out, is a strong cessation program. And so Tanya, who used to be with our Health Resource Center, is now overseeing our strong cessation program. And so right now, our strong pregnancies and strong starts programs are specifically the ones referring into that program. Again, back to, I know so many health departments and programs have tobacco and cessation programs, and we are still enrolling and referring to those programs. This is just an internal route that we are directly sending families to get them connected if they're vaping, tobacco, and really help giving that one-on-one support. And so we just recently rolled out that piece of it. It is going really well. And right now, the only referral system that we have for our strong cessation program is from our strong pregnancies and strong starts initiatives. And I will close with just mine and Paula Masters' contact information you can see on your slide here. You're welcome to contact me. I can also provide so much more detail. I know we were restricted on time. So if anyone has any questions, I'm sure we will have time to do that.
Thank you very much, Tara. So very exciting, very thorough. Oh my goodness, the things that are happening in our region are beyond exciting. So, but on the other hand, we also know the need just grows on a daily basis, particularly with COVID. So next we have Samantha Gray, who is the Parenting Education Coordinator for Bristol's Promise. And she will pull us back in a little bit for the very first starts that families have with their new babies and before.
Hi, thank you so much. It's great to see everybody. I miss our in-person gatherings so much. I will need, oh, she just got it for me. Thank you, Melissa. Very good. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yep.
I'm Samantha Gray, as Margaret mentioned, and I'm the coordinator of parenting education programs at Bristol's Promise and leading up the Parenting Education Network, which we're so excited about. I'm also a mom of 3 and the executive director of Nurturings. We really are focused on kind of the long-lasting, wide impact of nurturing parents and nurturing the parent-child relationship. And I'm going to go much quicker, almost to the end, but I will share all my slides and you can read them. We really think that focusing on consistent and loving care that strengthens the attachment relationship is absolutely vital. And we're looking at all kinds of creative ways we do that. This is just not a quick list, a deep list of the attachment relationship strategies that we can do in the midst of providing offering quality, accessible, affordable childcare. So I would love to go into all of this, but like I said, I will share that slide and let you just read it. We also want to point out, and if I could go into this, I would let you know very importantly that it is not just up to parents. It's up to our entire community. It's up to policies. It's up to society. It's up to businesses as well to look at how we look at the parenting and childcare relationship. Also, that we recognize very importantly, and I who have been someone who's been in all different kinds of childcare, someone who has used all different kinds of childcare, that it is a fluid process and that we need to help parents understand how to navigate that and what all their options might be, because there are quite a few. And always remember that often we don't expect this, but the children have opinions about the childcare too. With Ballot Population Health as a community health initiative organization, Bristol's Promise has worked very hard to get our arms around parenting information in our community, and then using that to increase awareness about those programs, as well as identifying gaps of parenting support. We're working on introducing Grand Connections through 0 to 3. It's a grandparenting support program, as well as special needs parenting support, mentoring, Spanish speaking language support, and other ideas that we have that have been identified as some gaps that are in our community. We're working to remove the stigma, trying to take an approach to parenting education that's a little bit aspirational, if you will, so that everyone sees that parenting education is important for every parent. We're working on increasing demand so that parents start to share that, you know what, it's making a difference in my life. It really matters. It really helps. Sharing, we're looking at best practices and trying to bring those to our area, saturating our community. And in a moment, I'm going to show you the programs we have, but I would argue that we are still very short of what our community needs, given all the people, but we also need to get people signed up for it and realizing that they can fit this into their lives and how we can help them do that. We're working on shared objectives and measures so we can track and report and learn what we're doing. We get together on a monthly basis, and you're welcome to join us. This is our Parenting Education Network. And in those meetings, we share what we have going on. We share like a struggle we might be having. One of the meetings we talked about what kind of businesses would cater our parenting education classes with some really good food. So that's just an example. We talk about the struggle of registrations or how we might track information. We are working harder to recognize parenting educators in our community because we think that it adds value in the eyes of parents, but also our parenting educators like Susan Murray and Tammy Alls have worked so long and so hard, and we think they need to be elevated and recognized. And there's so many others, and I don't mean to leave anybody out. We want to work to draw funding to our areas so we can expand our programs, all that we can realize better outcomes and flourishing for our children. We promote things like these kinds of gatherings as Bristol's Promise, and of course the network I mentioned. On our website, you can see our updates on each month on our parenting programs, as well as a searchable database, which we invite you to submit your parenting programs, your support, whether it's a support group, a class, a one-off event, whatever it might be. We keep a calendar of that. We also have our Bristol Connect program that we are extremely proud to bring to the region. And through that, bringing parenting education during the workday. How other ways, just parenting information, flyers, resources, classes. We also have our Bristol Baby Book, which we endeavor to reach all the new parents with this bookmark that kind of says, here's a get started, quick, easy kind of low kind of introductory way to reach them. We have a baby wearing program. We have accredited baby wearing educators and a lending program. And for those who aren't familiar with baby wearing, you might see it as something trendy. But for a parent who is struggling, who wants to feel productive, who is feeling or struggling with depression, the value of touch and how important that is, I could go on and give you a whole presentation about how important that is. So please now be glad to speak with you. I'm actually sitting right here in our 100 Ash Street office. We have Parenting Suite here with lots of books and resources and a Parenting Suite e-newsletter with all kinds of fun things for parents, including your parenting programs, so that we're kind of normalizing parenting education and getting it out there. So this is if you come to our door, visit us, we're at the Parenting Suite, and we've kind of got this honeycomb approach where we can add your organization. And these are just some of the groups. Here you can see we've grown a lot, and we think it's really wonderful to be able to connect with each other. Sometimes it's just to be able to say, you too, that's happening to you too. Wow, that's rough. We're really excited about the upcoming social marketing campaigns that we're going to be running and doing every kind of aspect of getting the word out and helping parents connect. And this is basically a 5x7 card. This is the front side of it. And it's Prime Your Parenting. It's really about, you can kind of interpret different ways, but it's how to prepare yourself for parenting, how to find community, how to find friendships, that they are there for the long road. And on the back, Parenting Prime Time, which is a weekly support group meeting where they can just drop in for either social time or get questions answered, get referrals to all of our parenting classes and all the groups, and understand that parenting education is for everyone. We have a lot more, but I know you've all been here a while. But we just love that if a community values its children, it must cherish their parents. Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you, Samantha, very much. We appreciate you, appreciate your focus. At this point, I wanted to also recognize, I think Brandy Peters was on here from our staff at Bristol's Promise, Tina McDaniel's here. And we also had a couple of board members, Tammy Alls is here, and also Kay Ward are two that are our board members. I might be missing somebody. Anyway, thank you all. I think that there are a couple people who've signed up, so we'll make sure that Mark Cruz captures those folks. And I think both of them are on the committee I'm co-chairing that wanted to join, so I captured that as well. Only one question that I noticed, and that was wondering about when you set goals, why you wouldn't set 100%. And I'll answer that briefly and anybody can correct me, but I think when we're setting measurable goals, we really need to set realistic goals. Also, when you're talking about children, there are so many abilities with children that if you say 100%, that means all your special needs and everyone. So yes, we want 100% of our children, 100% of our parents, but when you're doing grant reporting, you need to be sure that you set your goals that you can achieve with real work. Anyway, okay, anybody else have a question of any of our panelists or a comment to add or anything before we start seeing who has other things to share? Any of our panelists want to say anything else to add in?
I just want to recognize Danielle Boer, who's really awesome on our team, and that she's another contact person. She's helping to put together our newsletter if you want to reach out to her, and I'm just super grateful to her.
Yes, thank you. And for any of these, first off, we will send the chat, so you'll be able to contact some stuff yourself. But if you need to be added to any of the newsletter lists or whatever, is all for Bristol's Promise. It's our first name at bristolspromise.org. But Melissa or I can point you in the right direction or get you signed up. You can just reply to the email you received with the link, and we can get you where you need to go. Okay, so any comments, questions? If not, then maybe we can go around and spend a few minutes talking about what we're up to. And I see Tammy's putting in for her Moms Are Us program. Tammy's very active with the Parenting Educators Network and her program. So I am looking I'm looking, Matt Verlander, you're new to this group. Do you want to say who you are and if you have anything to share for any updates or anything quickly?
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for having me today, guys. I'm Matt Verlander. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for Virginia's Kids Belong in Southwest Virginia. And so Virginia's Kids Belong, we are a foster care advocacy group. We're not a placement agency, but we strive to create community and networks in our towns and communities in Southwest Virginia to wrap around and support foster families, current foster families, and then make efforts to increase recruitment. Virginia's in a crisis situation with foster care. We're tied for 50th in the United States for permanency. And so a lot of you know what permanency is, but I'm still learning what that means fully. It's a pretty vague definition, but my understanding is that that's when a child achieves permanency, he or she finds a pretty permanent home. And so maybe that's returning to a biological family. It could be that they've been adopted, or their goal changes in foster care to permanent foster care. So we're tied for last in the United States. So we want to be on top of that to try to make a change in our region. And so right now, just a little bit about what I'm doing, networking, creating relationships so that I can partner with faith communities, businesses, and other interested groups who may want to join the fight to wrap around foster families and increase recruitment so that we can have more than enough foster homes for the kids who need to enter care. I guess a quick plug, in May, we're going to be launching our foster friendly business app. And so one of my goals between now and probably March or April or so, leading up to National Foster Care Month, before we make that launch, is to add at least 25 businesses in Southwest Virginia. And because we, have this interesting designation of the border, right? So we live on the border with the Appalachian Highlands region. I'm interested in businesses who may want to come online, at the Pinnacle, maybe Kingsport, because a lot of Virginians do shop in or spend time in Northeast Tennessee as well. So if anyone has any connections with that, I don't think I left my email, but I'll type my email in. I'd love to chat with you and just share a little bit more about what's going on and information about the foster care crisis that we're trying to attack. So thanks for the time.
Thank you. And I believe there's also a Tennessee Kids Belong chapter also. So there's opportunity to connect in our whole region. So appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, how about Alana Leonberg from Holston Habitat? Would you like to share a little bit? And I might have pronounced your name not right.
Hi, I'm Alana Leonberg, and I'm the Outreach and Homeowner Services Manager with Holston Habitat for Humanity. We have a few exciting things coming up just to share with the group. First, we will be opening for applications for our homeownership program in February. So we are looking for individuals and families who are interested in stable, affordable homeownership through us. In the chat earlier, I put the contact information in there so they can give us a phone call, and we are happy to mail an application to them. Applications will also be available to be downloaded and printed from our website during the month of February. So please, if you know anyone who might benefit from a stable, affordable, permanent home, encourage them to look into our program. We do, this round of applications, we'll be selecting folks for new houses in Bristol, Virginia, Kingsport, and Elizabethton. And those builds are expected to take place in 2023, okay? Because our program does take about a year to a year and a half for them to work through it. Let's see, we also are looking for people who are interested in serving as paid construction site supervisors. That information is also in the chat. We have a training coming up February 7th and February 8th. So if anyone is interested in that and learning more, we would encourage you to reach out to our construction manager, and his email is listed in the chat. And we also, like I'm sure many organizations, we are also currently hiring. We have a part-time office manager position that is available right now, and we have a full-time finance director position. So we have lots of different ways that we're hoping folks on this call can help us, because our goal is to serve more families in 2022 and 2023 and grow. We have unfortunately not been able to serve the way that we have in the past in the last couple of years because of COVID, but we're hopeful to build that capacity back up. But we do need site supervisors, and we do need our staff in place to be able to do that. So we appreciate any help or support anyone can offer
Thank you.
in that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Destiny Stanley, are you able to share?
Yeah. Hello, my name is Destiny Stanley. I am a BSW intern from ETSU. I'm working with the Survivor Connection program at Tennessee Voices for the East and Northeast regions of Tennessee. And I don't really have any updates for the program right now. So just glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay. Is there who else would like to speak up? Is there somebody who wants to raise their hand that would like to go? And I've got to look at both screens.
Margaret, it's Tara. Can I put one more little plug in?
Yes, Tara, you can, and then Caroline Rodriguez
Okay.
after Tara.
Thank you. So my other part of my little job is our Children's Resource Center here, which is what I've worked primarily with Margaret and Melissa and Samuel in the past from an injury prevention and community outreach standpoint. And we've always had our main hub here at Niswonger. But on February 1st, we are doing a ribbon cutting for our second location, physical location, Children's Resource Center that is located inside of Johnston Memorial Hospital in Abingdon, Virginia. And so we are super excited about that. We have a dedicated team member, Kayla Phillips, that is primarily serving just families of Southwest Virginia, from health promotion to injury prevention. So we are doing a Facebook Live ribbon cutting since we can't have a lot of people in person. So if you are not following Niswonger Children's Hospital's Facebook page, please go do so. And it'll be a ribbon cutting live on February 1st at 10 a.m.
Thank you. Caroline Rodriguez, and after that, Jill Stott.
Hello, everyone. So I am Caroline Rodriguez. I work for the Survivor Connection program for Tennessee Voices. I am the care coordinator for the Northeast region. Our Survivor Connection program is an amazing program that helps victims of crime. We come in home one time per week, and what we do is that we work one-on-one with the parents to empower them with education about ACEs, trauma, juvenile justice, self-care, building a support network, connecting them to community resources, and we have an amazing domestic violence curriculum. Right now, Tennessee Voices is offering some common sense parenting classes. I did put the information on the chat. We have one that starts on February 8th, one that starts on February 9th, and I believe there's another one that starts some in the mid of February. But all of that information is in the chat. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next meeting.
All right, great. Thank you, Caroline. Jill.
Hi, Jill Stott with Northeast. I'm a Northeast Regional Coordinator for Tennessee Commission on Children and Youth. And I'm putting something in the chat. We have an event coming up next week, February 1st, from 10 until noon, the essential elements of trauma-informed juvenile justice system. And our guest speaker is Becky Haas. And the link to register will be in the event. Also, we have Children's Advocacy Days coming up, March 8th and 9th. Typically, that is an in-person event in Nashville. And last year we did a virtual event. This year we are doing a hybrid event. I think we have very limited tickets for in-person, but an unlimited opportunity for you to join us virtually. Again, that's March 8th and 9th, and I can send more information about that, or I can put the link for the CAD website in the chat as well.
Thank you, and thanks for being a great supporter for your organization, for all of us. Kayla Sharp, I think your hand's up.
Hello, good morning. Thanks. Thank you all for letting me be here. It's my first time as well. I'm Kayla Sharp. I'm the new Northeast Regional Director for the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network. Molly Colley was formerly in my position. If you all aren't familiar with TSPN, we are just a grassroots network organization statewide connecting Tennesseans to suicide prevention trainings and efforts. But I did want to share that we have launched a new program in conjunction with the Tennessee Department of Health that allows people to sign up for Essence Alerts. If you all are not familiar with Essence Alerts, anytime that there is someone under the age of 18 presenting to an emergency department for suicide-related behavior, including attempts or just thoughts or self-harm, an Essence Alert is issued in that county based on where they live. And so I will post a link in the chat where you can sign up if you are interested in signing up for your county. This is only for Tennessee, but I'm also going to post in the chat the 2021-2022 Mental Health Statewide Resource Guide for both Virginia, a statewide guide for Tennessee, and a Northeast regional guide for Tennessee as well. So I'll post all those links in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Marissa Muse, and then we could do one more and then we'll wind up. You're muted.
I am muted. I do that a lot. Okay.
We all do. We all do.
I'm with Village Behavioral Health, and we are a residential facility for adolescents 13 to 17, and now 10 to 12 for children dealing with mental health issues or substance use disorder issues. So we kind of have renamed some of our programs. So NOVA is our newest program, and that's, like I said, for adolescents 10 to 12. And we're excited about that because we haven't been able to take anything lower than 13 for a while. And then we have our 13 to 17 girls program is renamed Aurora. And then our boys 13 to 17 is Atlas. And we actually do have a new touring ability on our website. It's villagebh.com. And you can actually go on there and virtually tour the campus. We don't want, usually we were doing in-person tours before, but, COVID has messed everything up with that. So, and like everybody else, we're hiring cafeteria staff, nurses, and behavioral health technicians. And I will send all of this information to Margaret so she can share it with everybody else, all of you guys. So if you know of anybody that needs a job, send them our way. Thank you.
Isn't it amazing how much we're hiring in all different kinds of ways? Sorry to all of us. We're all competing against each other with the great jobs that we have to change the world, or at least our part of it here. So I don't see anybody else's hand up, and I think we're almost to the end. So Melissa, I'll call on you for any announcements or meetings coming up or sharing anything else.
Yeah, I posted in the chat earlier, the Parenting Education Network through Bristol's Promise pulls educators together to talk about where there might be gaps, what new programs there are, and they meet the third Thursday of every month. So their next meeting is going to be Thursday, February 17th at noon. Samantha, correct me if I'm wrong, but that group is still meeting virtually. Yeah. So you can reach out to Samantha or to Danielle and get information for that Zoom link. It's also on the Bristol's Promise calendar on the front page, bristolspromise.org. And then our trauma-informed care network meeting encompasses the upper 8 counties of Northeast Tennessee. This year, we're going to be focused on more direct actions that can be taken to become a trauma-informed organization, to be more trauma informed in the community. We all know about ACEs. We've all heard that before, but it's time to start taking some really direct action based on CDC recommendations, State of Tennessee, the Tennessee Commission on Children and Youth. So our trauma informed care network meetings are alternating months from the youth networking. So our next meeting is February 24th at 10 a.m. And again, we will likely be virtual for that as well. But you can find more information about all of this on our website, and feel free to sign up for the parenting newsletter if you have parents or grandparents or caregivers in your life. But there's also a Bristol's Promise newsletter where we try and share some of the information going on in our region, but we're all doing a ton of stuff. So feel free to sign up for either of those.
So thank you, Melissa, very much. And we do encourage you to sign up for everything. We know people can't go to everything, but as things come across your email, when it fits for timing and for topics that are pertinent to what you're doing, also our regional newsletters. The Parenting Education Network newsletter is relatively new and it is jam-packed. It's great. So really encourage. Also, we do encourage everybody to join the ACC, and you can find the Strong ACC. And if your organization hadn't joined, do that. And if it's appropriate for y'all to use Unite Us, it's only as good as how many people use it. So encourage you to all check that out. And if it's possible for you to, if it's appropriate for you to use it. And then also next Wednesday, I think there's going to be breakout rooms and participation in that meeting, more than what we've been able to have here. So if you have opportunity to go to the Strong Kids forum, that would be great as well. Any questions or anything, be sure you can shoot us emails. We're here for help and support us all. These are really hard times, but they're also pretty exciting for what opportunities are there and what everybody is doing. And I see every day, and we see it here, folks who are just passionate about what they do and who care about people. So that's critical. That's one of the most important things. So we thank y'all so much for everything you do. And we will probably have a March meeting. We're also trying to pay attention to being sure we're pertinent and relevant. Oh, I know what I should say. In March, actually, every Thursday, we might not have one. Every Thursday in March, right, at 12 noon, we are going to be showing the Tennessee Commission on Children and Youth. They did a collective impact series of training with 4 sessions. And we are going to, those are available. You can see them anytime. But if y'all are like me, sometimes you have all these webinars that you're going to watch later and you don't watch them. So we're going to do them through Zoom, where we'll introduce it, we'll watch it, and then we can talk about it a little bit. So if you're interested in collective impact, how is it that we're all working together? How do we do that? What are best practices? We're going to be doing that for 5 Thursdays in March. So encourage y'all to think about that. We'll have ads going out for you to put on your calendar. And Jill Stott, thank you for those. It's excellent training that we appreciate from Tennessee Commission on Children and Youth. All right, so thank y'all so much. Appreciate you. Welcome to new folks, and we hope to see you again. Don't hesitate to ask anybody for help or information. So thank you. Take care.